Ashur my lord commanded me to go forth. I covered the regions of Sarash and of Amash with ruins. I proved myself against their armies at the mountain of Aruma. I chastised them. I strawed the earth with their bodies as they had been beasts of the field. I took their cities in possession. I carried away their gods. I led them away captive, them and their goods and their treasures. I burned the cities with fire. I destroyed them. I made them even with the ground. I made of them heaps and a desolation. I laid upon them the grievous yoke of my dominion, and in their presence I gave thanks unto Ashur my lord. I slew 260 fighting men. I cut off their heads and made pyramids thereof. I slew one of every two. I built a wall, the great gates of the city. I flayed the chief men of the rebels. I covered the wall with their skins. Some of them were enclosed alive in bricks of the wall. Some of them were crucified on stakes along the wall. I caused a great multitude of them to be flayed in my presence, and I covered the wall with their skins. I gathered together the heads in the form of crowns, and their pierced bodies in the form of garlands. Saul, instructed by God to destroy the Amalekites, spared no one, put them all to death, men and women, children and babes in arms, herds and flocks, camels and asses. Who are you? The essence of a man is which of the following: his family, his wealth and education, his career, his identity. All down the ages, the religionists have admonished struggling humanity to have faith in this, that, and the other dogma or creed, but they have failed to tell people how to have faith. They have not stated that faith is a state of mind and that it may be induced by self-suggestion. In language which any normal human being can understand, we will describe all that is known about the principle through which faith may be developed, where it does not already exist. Have faith in yourself, faith in the infinite. Before we begin, you should be reminded again that faith is the eternal elixir which gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thought. The foregoing sentence is worth reading a second time, and a third and a fourth. It is worth reading aloud. Faith is the starting point of all accomplishments. Faith is the basis of all miracles and all mysteries which cannot be analyzed by the rules of science. Faith is the only known antidote for failure. Faith is the element, the chemical, which when mixed with ambition gives one direct communication with infinite intelligence. Faith is the element which transforms the ordinary vibration of thought created by the finite mind of man into the spiritual equivalent. Faith is the only agency through which the cosmic forces of infinite intelligence can be harnessed and used by man. Have faith in the new Assyria. Assyria will live forever. Ishtar's journey into the underworld, an Assyrian fairy tale. Ishtar was the lady of the gods, the goddess of fertility. She had been unlucky in love. Her husband Tammuz, the great lover of her youth, had died when he was still very young. She had fallen in love with Gilgamesh, that great king, but he had spurned her advances. In Babylon, the dead were sent to the underworld, a place of darkness ruled over by the goddess Irkala. It was said that in this place they lived on dust and mud. After being rejected by Gilgamesh, Ishtar became depressed and decided she would descend into the underworld to be with Tammuz. So, dressed in her finest garments, brilliant jewelry, and her high crown, Ishtar entered the cave that leads into the underworld. Irkala's realm was surrounded by 7 walls, each with its own gate that had to be passed to get to the dark place where the dead resided. When she got to the first gate, Ishtar called out to the watchman, "You, watchman, please open this gate and let me enter." The watchman's face peered at her from over the gate. He didn't say anything, but he didn't open the gate either. So she called out again, "Watchman, if you don't open this gate for me, I will force it open. I will break it down, and I will set free all the dead that reside in this dreadful dark place. I will set them free from their gloom and the rule of your merciless mistress, and take them to the land of the living. The dead will be so plentiful on earth that they will take over from the living. Nedu, as the watchman was called, looked at this fine lady, her crowned head held high, in her splendid attire, and said, "Please, lady, don't break down the gate. I will go and take your message to the lady Irkala. Please wait until I get back." When Irkala heard that Ishtar demanded to be admitted to her realm, she was terribly angry. She thought she would teach this intruder a lesson and instructed her watchman to admit the proud lady. Nedu returned to the first gate and opened all the bolts and locks. "Enter into the realm of Irkala, fine lady," he said. "Welcome to the place from where nobody ever returns." As he spoke, he took Ishtar's crown. She wanted to know why he had taken her crown. "Oh, lady," he said, "if you wish to enter, you must submit to the law of Lady of Irkala." She bent her head and went through the first gate. Ishtar walked a short distance to the second gate. The watchman opened all the bolts and locks and said, "Enter into the realm of Irkala, fine lady. Welcome to the place from where nobody ever returns." As he spoke, he took the eight-pointed star which adorned her neck. She wanted to know why he had taken her jewel. "Oh, lady," he said, "this is the law of the Lady Irkala." She bent her head, her radiance gone, and went through the second gate. Ishtar walked a short distance to the third gate. The watchman opened all the bolts and locks and said, "Enter into the realm of Irkala, fine lady. Welcome to the place from where nobody ever returns." As he spoke, he took the gold and bejeweled bracelets from her wrists. She wanted to know why he had taken her bracelets. "Oh, lady," he said, "this is the law of Lady Irkala." She bent her head, her radiance gone, and without her magnificent gold ornaments, and went through the third gate. Ishtar walked a short distance to the fourth gate. The watchman opened all the bolts and locks and said, "Enter into the realm of Irkala, fine lady. Welcome to the place from where nobody ever returns." As he spoke, he took the shoes off her feet. She wanted to know why he had taken her shoes. "Oh, lady," he said, "this is the law of the Lady Irkala." She bent her head, her radiance gone, and without her magnificent gold ornaments, barefooted, she went through the fourth gate. Ishtar walked a short distance to the fifth gate. The watchman opened all the bolts and locks and said, "Enter into the realm of Irkala, fine lady. Welcome to the place from where nobody ever returns." As he spoke, he took the splendid veil that covered her face. She wanted to know why he had taken her veil. "Oh, lady," he said, "this is the law of the Lady Irkala." She bent her head, her radiance gone, and without her magnificent gold ornaments, barefaced and barefooted, she went through the fifth gate. Ishtar walked a short distance to the sixth gate. The watchman opened all the bolts and locks and said, "Enter into the realm of Irkala, fine lady. Welcome to the place from where nobody ever returns." As he spoke, he took her magnificent outer robe. She wanted to know why he had taken her outer robe. "Oh, lady," he said, "this is the law of the Lady Irkala." She bent her head, her radiance gone, and without her magnificent gold ornaments, without the protection of her outer robe, barefaced and barefooted, she went through the sixth gate. Ishtar walked a short distance to the seventh gate. The watchman opened all the bolts and locks and said, "Enter into the realm of Irkala, fine lady. Welcome to the place from where nobody ever returns." As he spoke, he took her dress. She wanted to know why he had taken her dress, leaving her quite naked. "Oh, lady," he said, "this is the law of the Lady Irkala." And naked now, she bent her head, her radiance gone, and without her magnificent gold ornaments, without the protection of her outer robe, barefaced and barefooted, she went through the seventh gate, where she found Irkala. This story is to be continued. A colorful striding lion, its mouth open in a threatening roar, once decorated a side of the processional way in ancient Babylon. The processional way led out of the city through a massive gate named for the Mesopotamian goddess of love and war. Each year during the celebration of the Great New Year festival, the images of the city's deities were carried out through the Ishtar Gate and along the processional way, past some 120 lions such as this one, to a special festival house north of the city. What is the relationship between Easter and Ishtar? The most significant symbol of Ishtar was which of the following? The 8-pointed star, the 6-pointed star of Dedo, the gold bracelet, the lion. The myth of Ishtar and Tammuz eventually led to the creation of which of the following? The myth of Aphrodite and Adonis, the myth of Romeo and Juliet, the myth of Shireen and Farhad. None of the above. What was the purpose of the Ishtar Gate and its various depiction of animals? What is the meaning of the name Nebuchadnezzar? Ishtar became associated with a planet and was believed to imitate the cyclic motion of this planet in her terrestrial activities. Which planet was this? Planet X, Nibiru, Venus, Mars. It is a mythological hybrid, a scaly dragon with hind legs resembling the talons of an eagle, feline forelegs, a long neck and a tail, a horned head, a snake-like tongue, and a crest. This was called which of the following? Pazuzu, Odishu, Mushushu, Hydra. Email answers to the following address to qualify for a gift certificate. Thank you.